Hello everyone, welcome to this 1 hour class of yin. A little bit of a mix of a yin and restorative tonight. You will need as many props as you can gather really. Ideally a bolster, but also if you don't have a bolster, a rolled up mat. So if you've only got one mat, just roll the one that you have and make sure you have perhaps a towel on the floor or use some rolled up blankets. You'll also need 2 bricks, a blanket, possibly a brick, maybe a belt, but really as many things that you find that you can get yourself comfortable with, cushions and the likes, if you don't have such props around with you. Let's start by centering ourselves. If you see me using this little device, it's just to make sure that we're doing an even amount of time on either side when we go for asymmetrical postures. Let's find ourselves comfortably seated. I'm on a bolster so that my hips are high and that my knees are a little lower than my hips. Start by taking the palms facing up towards the ceiling, releasing the elbows to the side of the body and closing your eyes, finding a little bit of release mentally and physically by simply taking the time for being. So perhaps observing what kind of a day you've had, noticing how you are feeling mentally perhaps as a result of this day so far. Notice your breathing. And there will be plenty of opportunities to check on your breath as we slowly move on from posture to posture. But here, notice how it travels through your body, where it comes in, the nose or the mouth, how it comes out, again, the nose or the mouth. And see to use that breath as a little beacon shining through your body to notice what feels right and perhaps what feels not so right tonight. And see whether you can take that breath a little longer. So expanding the breath as you inhale, filling your lungs up, and as you exhale, releasing. Take a few more of those filling breaths. Notice the movements involved through your breathing. And then slowly open your eyes. Bring the hands back down towards the thighs. We'll take the opposite crossing of the legs and simply take a little bit of movement because I'm not sure what you've been doing so far. And as we can stay in some of those postures for a certain amount of time, let's make sure that simply our joints are a little bit oiled up. So you're going to take the shoulders right up towards the ears, tuck the chin, and then take a circle. So inhale, half a circle. Exhale, complete the circle, one more. And then let's take 2 in the other direction. And coming back through to the center, give the shoulders a little bit of a roll, forward and back. A little bit of movement, shaking those wrists about a little bit, back and forth. And then keeping the legs, extending those legs, then you can move the ankles, take some ankle rotations in one direction and then in the other direction. Haul the back of the leg and move the knee. And then in the other leg, moving it around, back and forth. And from this you may even interlace the fingers, and as you exhale round, as you inhale, come back up, chest bump here. Exhale round, inhale, chest bump. Exhale round, inhale, up. Good. Release. We're going to come into our first posture, which tonight will be our Sphinx. To come into our Sphinx here, we're going to come onto our fronts. And to set ourselves up into our front, we may have block or brick or a bolster, anything. Try to make sure that your supports are not too far. Come onto your fronts. And we're also going to then scissor the legs a little bit, just to give a little bit of movement here. Now tuck the toes, lift the knees and bring yourself back up onto your forearms, which you may place fairly wide out. So for me, the elbows need to come a little bit further forward than the shoulders, but for you they may be right up here. And because I'm placing a little bit of stress, positive stress into the back, after a while I may even feel like I need to take my elbows further forward or even my forehead down onto a brick here. So let's start. And just notice, think of where your heart is, and then into the back of the heart, so into the back of the body, and see if that can melt forward. Try to relax your glutes. And if you have been at a desk or somewhat hunched over today, this may feel quite tough actually. But also quite a counter posture to what you have been doing so far. At any point, go ahead and release the forehead down maybe. With yin, we come to our edge, our first edge. And then we allow the gift of time to come into stillness. Whether that is a physical stillness or a mental stillness, that can still be debated a little bit. Different postures will bring different sensations and feelings into yourself. Notice what they are. Notice the subtle physical changes as you remain in the postures. You are of course welcome to come away from those postures if there's anything that feels painful. If it's a challenge, can you ride the wave of your challenge? when you're ready to bring the gaze back up if it's down, slowly slide the hands, bring the hands to the side of the chest, tuck the toes, and very, very gently bring yourself back onto the hands and knees, bring the knees under the hips. You can sit gently back onto your heels, allow the head to hang, shake it about a little bit. And then slowly uncurl yourself back up to come to one of our first seated postures. I like to sit on a blanket so that it will tilt my hips slightly and make me feel comfortable. So from this, my sitting bones are on the edge of the blanket. I'm going to take the legs wide and then take the left knee in. So you come into half butterfly. Possibly here, if you haven't got such a thing as a bolster, then you have plenty tricks, books, etc., bricks, blocks, and you're essentially going to use those as a support to come forward. If you have a bolster, my apologies, you're going to bring that bolster a little bit more in. And then here, we're going to fold forward. Now, as we fold forward, you might find it helpful to rub your hands for a little bit of warmth. And then to place your hands onto your eyes and feel the exchange of warmth here. And you can stay observing, noticing where you are, sensation-wise. Where you are, breath-wise. Where you are in your mind. You may remain with those hands cupped around your eyes. Once the heat has dissipated, perhaps, you could release yourself forward. And then on your next in-breath, slowly start to bring yourself back up. Take your supports away. Extend the leg. Maybe move those legs a little bit. And we'll move over to the other side. So you can take the other knee in. Use, perhaps, here I shall demonstrate on this side with your other supports. Again, feel free to rub your hands. And then release forward. Notice if there is a stretch in your body. If it is similar or different to the other side. There's nothing right or wrong there, you are just gently observing. You may remain here or remove the hands away. And then bring yourself forward with or without support. Try to hold the least tension possible. Nevertheless, listening to the feedback your body's giving you. And then when you're ready to, slowly bring your head back up and curling yourself. Take the supports to the side, take the hands behind you. You're going to move the knees from side to side before moving on to the next posture. Our next posture is this time the full butterfly, so extending the legs out, not too far out, enough so that you have some space there. And here I like to use blocks and bricks under the bolster to support it, so that then I can fold forward. You may have your hand underneath, you may have nothing but folding this way or have blocks and bricks at hand. Allow your feet to roll out, your back to be comfortable. Observe the thoughts And as you are folding forward here, if you feel a discomfort in the jaw, just separate the teeth and the lip and take the tongue to the roof of the mouth, or where your teeth and your roof of the mouth meet, so that you can rest the jaw and find a little bit more softness as the thoughts pour out into your support and away from you, giving you a little bit more space. Physically into the back of the body and mentally as the thoughts go to some other places, not at the forefront of your mind. Slowly bring yourself back up. You can take the hands behind you and then roll the shoulder blades as if they were going to overlap over the spine, and allow the head to fall back. Move around your hips a little bit. Come back to the center and remove your supports. Keep them to the outside of the left side of your body. And here, if you wish, you can either take another back stretch or press the hands down to the floor, lift your hips and take a counter tabletop here. And then release down to the floor. For the next posture we're going to take, you're going to come into Mermaid. So here, with your legs being extended with the knees bent, however, you're going to take the left heel in and then the right knee in line with the inside of the leg. Here we'll use either our bolster, whereby it be placed by the side of the body, and then we can release the elbow and really relax here, taking maybe the arm over the head. If you don't have such a thing as a bolster, you can take, I measured this earlier on for me, that if I took my 2 bricks, one on the flat side, one on the second side, then I would be able to comfortably release to have the elbow to the floor. And again here, this might be quite tough, so if you wanted to go a little lower down, then you're more than welcome to as well. Then you can take that top arm over, stretching into the right side of the body. Some of you may even feel comfortable to extend the arm and completely release the head down. Another option would have to have rolled up blanket, for example, on top of your bricks. so that it's not as tough. On your fascia. Once more observing the sensations. Giving yourself the time to mellow in such a posture. Take another breath here. Then bring the top arm up if it's over the head, bring it to the floor. Very, very gently bring yourself back up and to the centre. I'm simply going to shift those legs around, so I'll bring them back to the centre. This time I'm going to use my bolster, so that when I take the right leg in and then take the left thigh to the inside of the right leg, I have that bolster parallel to my other side and I can bring myself over and down. And then here, I'm going to take my arm over the head. You don't have to. If it's already quite a nice stretch to just be here, then you can stay here. Or you could have the arm in front of you. You're supporting your head or you're letting it hang out. I know I'm one of those people that prefer to hot support it. You will know when you try the different options. Sometimes this one, all those variations are known as Cleopatra's Lounge. So if it helps to soften into this, to thought about being fed grapes, then please go ahead. Although this may bring a distraction and make you think about other things than purely the sensation that you are experiencing right now. Again, noticing that we are experiencing thoughts and subtle changes in our bodies is what our practice of yoga, we are in the moment. So whether it's a more yin or more yang type of yoga, then you're right on it right now. Take another breath here. And then take the top arm back up. Bring yourself gently back up towards the center. Take your support to the front and top of the mat. Come onto your hands and knees. And then here we'll just take a few cat-cows. So you may want to come onto your fists if one of your hands was supporting your head and it's feeling a little weighty. So you're going to exhale, inhale. Just a little bit of gentle movement, 2, 3, 4 times. However many times your body feels it is appropriate. And then you have two choices coming down into our child's posture, whether to have the toes together, the knees separated, or the knees together so you come forward. You're going to keep the arms actually extended in front of you. Depending on the length of your arms and the shape of your body, your elbows may be on or off the floor here. If this is too much for you to be sat into your child's posture, then you can bring a folded blanket between your belly and your thighs, or take the legs a little bit wider, or be a little higher up on your bottom lifted up in the air if you like. Then you're actually going to lift the gaze up between those hands, and then you're going to take the arms over towards the left. Resting your arms, if you can, down, feeling that stretch on the right side of the body. Come back to the centre, take a couple of breaths here. Then you're going to start moving your arms over towards the right. Feeling the stretch in the left side of the body. Take one more breath. And then bring everything back through towards the center again. Take a couple of breaths here. Come back up onto your hands and knees. And then take the knees back under the hips. You're going to take a wide tabletop and take a little bit of movement into those hips here. So I'd like to take big circles. You could be onto your fists if you wanted to. And then in the other direction. Good. And then you're going to come down onto your bottom. And then come over onto your side, where here we'll start prepping for the next posture using a blanket, possibly a belt, certainly a brick or a bolster even. So you can take your head onto a little pillow-like of the blanket. And here you're on your side, and you're going to take the top leg and extend it out. Now you may be able to just release it. Possibly you'll want a brick to support it, depending on how flexible, if you like, you are feeling right now. And then you can stay here. You can even have a brick under your face to support if you've got a little bit wider shoulders. The bottom leg can be bent, and you can leave it there, trying to take it back a little bit so you have a stretch on the bottom here too. Or you can try to have your belt to hold onto your foot and gently bring the leg back. Now you aim to have the back shoulder, the one holding the belt, releasing towards the earth. So you get a good deep twist here. Like I said, the bottom leg is doesn't need to be held. Not everyone will want to do this or can do this with their quadriceps, so try to simply enjoy that twist. I'm removing my brick so my head is on the blanket. I'm expanding the chest. Remember, with yin you go to your edge and you settle if you can. If you cannot, perhaps round about now, then know to ease one way or the other, the leg or the torso. And notice how you are feeling now in this posture in comparison to the other postures that we have done so far. And then if you're holding the back foot or the belt, you can let it go. Release the bottom leg straight, the top leg straight. Roll over onto your back. Take a moment or so here, just a couple of breaths really. And And you're going to roll over onto the other side, and because of where I am, I will just literally change sides or direction on my mat. So here you're on the other side, you get yourself comfortable. So you extend the top leg with or without the support of a block or a brick. And then the bottom leg, you start to take it back. You can bend the knee, and then that will be plenty enough for some people. For some of you, you'll be able to reach onto the foot, and then that will help you turn the chest up towards the ceiling. As you take your twist. Again, notice that two sides may tell a different story. This is quite true right now for me. My top shoulder doesn't descend as much as the other side, and it's something to notice. It's not something to criticize or be judgmental about. Try to stay softened into your facial features. Notice the subtle changes after your breath settles in this new posture. And then slowly release the bent knee, take the top leg back, release yourself onto your back here. And take a couple of breaths, to reposition yourself. Maybe move the knees from side to side. And then extend the legs. Take the arms over the head, and maybe you're holding onto the elbows. You're going to take the arms over towards the left side, as well as your head, but you leave the shoulders where they are, and you take the legs over towards the left side. You can hold on to the wrist or simply have the arms out. Try to keep the back of the pelvis down into the floor for this banana sana. And as you allow your legs to relax, just notice that stretch in the right side of the body. Sometimes the leg wants to come back towards the centre. This is where you'll be taking the leg that has come off the mat and cross it at the ankle to hold onto that centre leg. Or on the other side, if you wanted to go a little further, then you can take that leg that is more on the mat towards So the right leg over the left ankle. Whatever feels comfortable and achievable for you, without changing your facial features. And I say this because I've had to let go. So opening onto the sides of the body, so we're bringing fresh supply, space in the cells, in the body, or in between the cells of the body. And I'll say this now in case I forget to remember to drink. Drink plenty water after this to keep the tissues hydrated, to keep your muscles hydrated, to keep your brain hydrated. And you're going to slowly bring the legs back through to the centre, the arms back through to the centre. Take the arms back to the side of the body. Take a few breaths here. And then you'll take the arms back up over the head and move those legs over to the other side, as well as the arms. And it's up to you whether you want to cross those legs or not. Take a few breaths before this is to happen. As again, two different sides may tell a different story. Notice that stretch on the left side of the body, somewhere along or everywhere along from the toes to the ankle, calf, knee and thigh, hips, flanks, waistline, ribs, armpits, arm all the way perhaps to the fingers. At some point you'll feel that opening, the stretching, the releasing. you're ready to begin to slowly bring the legs back through towards the centre, and then the arms. Take the arms over the head and back to the side of the body. Move your legs around a little bit, pressing the heels down, lifting the knees. Then you can start to take the feet flat to the floor. Maybe move the knees from side to side a little bit. Bringing the right knee in towards the chest. Releasing it to the floor, taking the other knee in towards the chest. Then you'll get yourself ready for your relaxation. Perhaps a blanket underneath the head and a blanket on top of you, or a jumper. Maybe the legs extended, bricks under the thighs, or bolster under the knees. Take whichever posture makes you feel comfortable. Go ahead and set yourself up now. So once you've used or gathered what feels comfortable for you, to bring yourself onto your back. And get yourself into the most comfortable posture. Start by allowing the back of the body to make contact in the most adequate way. Take the next few breaths here to re-jiggle, to re-center yourself, or to move your props around you in a way that feels comfortable, so that eventually you can turn the palms facing up towards the ceiling, the arms a little bit away from the side of the body. And you can continue into Savasana. We're here thanks to the previous postures that we adopted and adapted to suit ourselves. We may have rid ourselves of some tensions. Rid ourselves of the mental fatigue. So that we can find a little bit more clarity. Decide now if you need to move anything. If by being lying onto your back for the last couple of minutes your body may have released a little bit more, and you can expand a little bit more. And then I'd like you to think about the breath. To cast your mind to perhaps one posture where you find that your breath was making itself felt more, if you like. Perhaps you paid more attention to the breath then because you were holding a little bit more. And compare that to your breathing now. And then let go of one or the other, simply allowing the breath to be in and out of your body. As you become so heavy so relaxed into the floor that you are weightless. As if you are leaving your body anchored behind you, so that the essence of who you are rises, lifts, comes to your awareness, becomes your awareness. As you are whole and at one with the universe. Feel ready to start to become aware of things and sounds that are external to your body. Sounds inside your house. outside of your house. Take your thumb tips around the index fingertips and take some circles, noticing the grain of the skin. Moving on to your middle fingers. The ring fingers. And your little fingers. Wiggle your toes. Very gently bring your mind and your body and your breath to the present time outside of your mat. Eventually falling over onto one side, curled up. And when you can, opening your eyes, allowing the gaze to focus. Pressing your top hand down, bringing yourself back up to a comfortable seated posture. Noticing how you are feeling right now. Inhale. Exhale loudly through the mouth. 2 more. Take your hands to your heart. Thank you for having joined me into this hour or so of yin designed to expand the mind, the body and the breath, and for more clarity. I salute you. Namaste. Till next time.